everyone, and welcome to Brain Noise FM, the first ever episode. Woo! I'm Esme.
I'm Nova. Hi.
We are two very ADHD people who ramble about a lot of topics, and it's been suggested that we turn this into a podcast because people want to listen to us for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe you need therapy, but anyway.
Maybe we are the therapy for some people.
Maybe.
I still question that judgment.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about your choices, but anyway, we do live to serve. Today we're going to be discussing the great food debates that have been known to ruin dinner parties, friendships, even family relationships.
Yeah, this is going to cause some arguments.
Forewarning, there is a chance that we're going to get a bit loud when we get a bit heated about things. I promise we won't stay on topic at some point. There is going to be a tangent somewhere because ADHD.
We're ADHD. We ride that train and we ride it proudly.
You have been warned. This whole podcast is basically just two ADHD people rambling about nonsense.
We've given our final warning. You get one, and that's it. That's your final warning. So we're going to jump straight in, I think. You have been warned.
There's no turning back now, traveler.
And if you try, we will kill you.
We will find you. We will find you. And we'll put you in the corner.
We will offer you cookies. We will offer you cookies to come and join the dark side.
just please love us. We have cookies. Right, no, but did you want to get us started with the big ones?
So the big food questions that I'm pretty sure everybody has had asked and has had raised in certain conversations. And why we chose to do these ones, I don't know. This is definitely going to cause some debates. Maybe not even between us two. Maybe we may have the same opinions on things, but I know that the listeners are definitely going to have some different opinions.
There's going to be some riots in the comments.
We'll start nice and simple. We'll start nice and simple with the "Does pineapple belong on pizza?" debate. Now, I quite like pineapple on pizza.
I love pineapple on pizza. I wouldn't put it on. I wouldn't put it on just any pizza. It has to be with the correct garnishings. Yeah. So I wouldn't put it just in.
Pizza.
Yeah, I wouldn't just put it in the random middle of my meat feast or something like that. It has to be with the correct things. But I don't see why pineapple I don't see why pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Because pineapple's great.
But the thing is, like, if people are like, a lot of people say pineapple doesn't belong on pizza because it's fruit. What the fuck is tomato?
The whole thing's a fucking fruit salad at that point. Is that a point?
Is it a main meal or is it dessert?
Wait, so if tomatoes are fruit, right?
Yeah.
And you put the tomato sauce on the base. Does it basically make it a glorified jam sandwich?
I never even thought of that. I'm never going to look at pizza in the same way. It's a glorified jam sandwich.
It's a glorified jam sandwich.
For those who only eat margarita pizzas, you're now never going to look at pizza the same way.
You're welcome.
Fold it in half. It's basically a giant sandwich.
And I want to preface that there is a technical plan to this episode. And I didn't even think about that until right now. This is how ADHD we are. This is how many tangents we have.
We have cue markers. We have a whole sheet of questions and everything to go off to today. But some things may come up, and we didn't plan them.
Like glorified jam sandwiches.
Glorified jam sandwiches. Never going to look at pizza in the same way.
No, I've just ruined it for you. You're welcome.
So we're on the same consensus there.
Yeah, pineapple belongs
and pineapple.
Yeah,
they are one.
Yeah, they are one.
Only in certain situations.
Yeah.
It's like pineapple pizza, not pineapple pizza, Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah,
pineapple. Yeah, it wouldn't go on like a meat feast. It wouldn't go on like a.
Wouldn't even put it on. I wouldn't even just have cheese and pineapple. That.
I wouldn't even have it like.
No, I wouldn't.
A lot of the time, for me, when it comes to pizza, I have. See, I quite like meat on the pizza, so usually pepperoni. I love pepperoni on a pizza. But I also love the vegetables on pizza as well,
Yeah.
like onions, mushrooms, peppers, sometimes sweet corn. Not all the time. Sweet corn can be a little bit funny on pizza sometimes, but I will more often than not just get a vegetarian pizza and stick pepperoni on it. But I would never actually willingly put pineapple on a vegetarian pizza.
No, it's a situational thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people get triggered by it. Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Ah! But we're not saying we'd put it on every pizza. We're not
No,
saying we put
no,
it with
no, 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 not at all.
everything. It's that is the situational pizza because it complements the other garnishes.
It's a fancy
It's
pizza.
a fancy pizza.
It's
And
a fancy dining
I'm
pizza.
sorry that you're not cultured enough to enjoy my glorified jam sandwich with pineapple on it.
Fuck's sake. Oh dear. Okay. So we've had the pizza debate. We've had the pineapple on pizza debate. That's the biggest one that I think everyone will have had asked at some point in or another. The next one, I've at least had this question asked to me before. I don't know about everybody else. Smooth or crunchy peanut butter?
Smooth.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's
personally a smooth fan.
and that's purely based on texture.
Yes, 100%. I can't handle the crunchiness of peanut butter. Like, no, it doesn't make sense for me. Like,
So I can understand why people would like it, but for me, I would rather chew sandpaper because it's basically the same thing. And I would rather
I,
just have smooth peanut butter. Especially
yeah,
especially
I'm not a.
especially if you're putting it like so you got toast, you got your peanut butter, and then you put like chopped tomatoes on. Everything else in that situation is soft. Why are you adding crunch to it? It didn't need it.
But then again, like a lot of people have like peanut butter on toast. That's
Mm,
one of the ways that I used to eat peanut butter as a kid. I used to have peanut butter on toast, and never did I want crunchy peanut butter,
no.
even though my toast was crunchy.
Yeah, but toast crunch is I mean depends on how you
It's a different kind of crunch.
yeah, it depends on if you cremate your toast or not.
Oh god, no! I would scrape off the burnt bits.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know people who that's a debate of how toast is toasted. Where's the borderline of toast to cremated toast? That's
If it's black, put it in the bin. It's dead.
yeah, yeah, my mum has her toast like dark brown. It's like borderline cremated, and I'm like,
See, there
why?
is there's me that has it borderline golden.
But
It just starts browning, and then I'm
yeah,
like, "That's done."
mine's
It comes out, and it's
mine's
still
border.
slightly floppy.
Mine's basically just warm bread at that point.
It is. The toaster has become a glorified bread warmer.
Yeah, literally.
So we're on the same consensus on the peanut butter thing.
Yes, but
Smooth is
yeah,
better. But then again, thinking about it, I'm the same way with like nuts in chocolate. I
yeah.
don't like nuts in chocolate. The only way that I will really eat nuts is if I was to have like a bowl of nuts. If I was to have like cashews or peanuts or, any other type of nuts, I would have a bowl of nuts. I don't have them in things. I don't like them in things. Like if, for example, you get a Chinese and there's got nuts in it, I'll take them out because I don't like them. It's a different consistency to the rest of the food.
That's definitely a tism thing.
More than likely.
It's the texture of it. It's just no.
I have to willingly force myself to eat that texture, otherwise I don't eat the texture at all. Okay, so the next question. I'm already hating this.
'Cause
I'm already hating this. And this is gonna cause a debate. Maybe not from us two, but from everybody else. I'm already hearing the sighs and the for fuck's sakes. Is cereal a soup?
yes,
No!
it's milk
No, it's
soup.
not. It's not a soup. How is it a soup? Tell me
Okay,
how it's a soup.
logistically, I'm aware it is not technically a soup. However, milk soup.
It's not. It's not a soup. Now, my argument on this as to why it's not a soup. So, how do you make soup usually?
I don't know. I don't like soup.
For fuck's sake. Then how can you say that cereal is a soup? Usually, when it comes to soup, you're cooking things to, vegetables to the point where they are just pulp. And then you're blending it together with cream or, various different ingredients, and you are making a soup. It is just liquefying food. That's what soup is. It's liquefied food.
Depends on how
Sometimes you can
long.
have it where it's actually got like, a thick consistency. Sometimes it's a very runny consistency.
Sometimes it has chunks.
Sometimes still got chunkies in it. I mean, you get noodle soup, but to me, it's food that has been cooked, blended, and mixed with other kind of like creams and other stuff to make it a soup. That is a soup. Cereal is not a soup.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm gonna actually concede on this one. You're right. Cereal's not a soup.
I'm glad that my argument stood there.
Because anyone else asked me, nah, it's just glorified soup.
But my argument
So
stands like
yeah, your argument stands. I can't argue with it, and I'm not gonna try.
because I can keep on going on about that. Okay, so that's the first one in our questions that are going to cause a debate.
Probably, yeah.
Fourth question we have, and you. Oh, you might hear the dread that I have for this question because I know it's going to cause arguments. I just know it. Are hot dogs sandwiches?
Yes.
No, no, they're not.
A sandwich is defined as meat between bread, back from the Chinese dynasty, and one of their meals, and I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, so I'll put it on the screen, literally translates to meat between bread, and that is the first definition of a sandwich. And a hot dog, it's questionable meat, but it's still meat, and a bun is still bread. It is literally meat between bread.
No, no. I don't care where it derived from. No, it's still not a sandwich.
Respect the ancestry.
I can
Okay,
respect it, but
so
I
what?
can
Okay,
have differing opinions.
okay. So if I took a hot dog bun and I filled it with ham and salad and cheese, would it then be a sandwich?
No.
So your argument is based on the shape of the bread that you're eating.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but it's still bread.
If it was in a bread roll, then I'd say, yeah, you've got yourself a hot dog sandwich, or you've got yourself a sandwich of varied fillings.
So because it's in a hot dog shaped roll or
Yeah.
bun or whatever it is you want to call it, because that's another debate that we're not getting into. Because
That's more of a regional debate. Like, where do you
yeah,
come from in the world? By how do you, how, what name do you give this bread? That is a regional thing.
yeah, because where I grew up, we called them batches, and where I live now,
Batches.
yeah, it's a batch because you bake a batch of them. And where I grew up and where I live now, they're called cobs. You have a bacon
Oh
cob.
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So I mean,
I
me and
grew up,
you, we're close
yeah,
enough together location wise to have slight crossovers, but
yeah,
we still I call them bread buns.
yeah. I
It's
usually
a
just
bun.
go with roll in polite society so that I don't get
Yeah,
lynched.
bread rolls are more of a southern thing.
I think
But no,
they're more socially acceptable if you're unsure of the word as well.
the further north you go, I've heard them being called a barm cake.
What?
Yes, 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 yeah, barm cakes. That's what bread
But
rolls,
it's
buns.
not a cake.
I know.
Oh no, that's triggering. It's not
Yeah.
a cake.
Yep. I know. I know. I stand with you on that one. You have no debate with me on that one. That is not a cake. It is not a cake. Where is the sugar? Okay, so for you,
I
we
think we
stand
have
on
to
differing
agree
opinions
to
with this one.
disagree because your
Yeah,
argument's based on the shape of bread, whereas I'm just like,
yeah.
it's bread. Bread is bread.
If you're looking at it like bread is bread and meat is meat, and you
Yeah,
put meat in bread, it becomes a sandwich. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
okay,
where my argument lies.
I understand that part.
But I also understand where
But for
you're coming
me,
from
the
of
shape,
like
yeah,
the shape
the shape of the
determines.
bread defines the name of the meal.
Yeah, okay, I can understand that.
Okay, and the last one in these questionable questions: dipping fries in milkshakes, genius or crazy?
Crazy.
Really?
I can't. I tried it. I have on multiple occasions. I can't get behind it. And which is weird because
I
it's sweet and salted, right?
yeah.
And when it comes to popcorn, I'm the kind of person I don't care about mixing them. Like I will have sweet and salted if it's there. It's not my
Mm,
preference, but if it's there, I have no problem with it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But it comes to I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's because it's typically done with McDonald's food, obviously.
Usually,
Um
yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the way McDonald's fries are fried and they can tend to go soggy and then you're putting them in the milkshake. I don't know if it's that thing that bothers me or if it's every time I've done it, I've just had very over salted chips that have just not complemented it.
Okay, so it's a textural and salt quantity,
Mm,
salt content
yeah.
thing for you.
I've tried
Okay.
it multiple times. I just I can't do it.
See, I quite like dipping fries in milkshakes.
Because it
I
sounds like
quite
the kind
like
of
it.
thing I would like.
Yeah,
But I just
I remember trying it for the first time. Okay, first time I actually tried it, I didn't actually try dipping my fries in the milkshake. I did this in McDonald's. I will admit, the first time I tried it was in McDonald's, and I didn't dip it in my milkshake. I dipped it in my McFlurry.
oh, that's
N
interesting.
I actually prefer dipping it in the McFlurry than I did to dipping it in the milkshake. I won't lie, because the milkshake usually have flavors with them. Like I know ice cream, vanilla, blah blah blah,
Yeah, well vanilla's very
but
neutral flavor.
vanilla's a very neutral flavor. Whereas the milkshakes I would get would usually be like strawberry or banana. Not a big fan of. I say not a big fan. I'm not a fan of chocolate flavored things.
Oh, same. I can't stand chocolate flavour things.
Chocolate flavoring completely different to normal chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Like chocolate, that's good.
Yeah.
Chocolate is good.
I can't do chocolate.
Chocolate flavored, no,
Even chocolate
can't do it.
cake is
Yeah,
borderline for me. It has to be very well
it's
made.
too much. It has to be very well made, and it
Mm.
can't be like too rich.
Yeah.
If it's too rich, no, count me out. Give me a Victoria sponge any day.
Oh, yeah. Love Victoria Sponge.
We're getting off topic. We're talking about cakes again.
We warned you this would happen.
We
Right, back
did,
to
we
the
did. But no,
fries.
back to the fries. McFlurry over the milkshake due to the different flavors of the milkshake that I would
Mm.
get. That for me, if I was to still I don't do it as much anymore because I don't really get McFlurries or milkshakes. But if I was to get one and I did have a meal, I would more than likely still dunk it in my McFlurry than I would my milkshake. I wouldn't go immediately to the milkshake. I'd go to the McFlurry.
I mean, like, yeah, that's valid.
So to me, dipping fries in milkshakes is a yes for me. It's a genius for me.
It's one of those things of I want to like it, but I just can't. But also, whoever came up with it, there is a fine line between genius and crazy, and I think they borderline it.
Oh no, I'm full going for their crazy, but it's a genius kind of crazy. You're crazy, but you genius crazy.
Speaking of crazy, the next part of this is the crimes of food. And we're going to be debating whether or not it is a crime. And I'm going to warn you, some of these get borderline disgusting. This is your warning. Most of them are just generally okay, though. I will warn you on the one that I feel like is the most disgusting before we speak about it, because learning about it made my stomach turn. So
Reading it made my stomach turn.
yes. Okay, so the first one is fine. Cold pizza. Gourmet or garbage?
I could take it or leave it. I could take it or leave it. I don't do it as often as I used to. I used to whenever we'd have like a takeaway pizza night, the next day I'd have some cold pizza for lunch. It- More often than not, I will still microwave it. I will still have it warm, but I won't purposefully put pizza in the fridge to eat it. I
Yeah.
prefer my pizza hot, but it's not a bad thing for me. It's not
Like
my go-to, but
if
it's not a bad
if
thing.
if there's cold pizza, I'm gonna eat the cold pizza. But if I
Yeah.
have the ability to heat it up, I'm gonna heat it up.
Yes. So it's like, for perfect example, Christmas time or whenever we do like parties or anything like that, you have a buffet. More often than not, there's pizza on there. There's like
And it's usually cold.
finger bites, and yeah, usually cold. I'll
And
happily eat it.
and people have no problem with that. But then you suggest a
Exactly.
cold pizza and they're "Ah, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah,
You
people
can't
turn their
have
face up
that
at it.
pizza I'm sorry. Everything in the world, a cold pizza's the least of my issues. I'm gonna eat the damn pizza. I don't waste food.
If I'm hungry, I'm eeting it.
I eat the damn pizza.
You know what?
Life's too
Some
short
fucking
to be
pizza.
worrying about cold pizza.
It's true.
Okay, the next one, and this is one that I can't stand it, is having ketchup on pasta.
Now I understand some people do this, and props to you. I No.
No.
It I understand that tomato sauce is, what you would usually have with pasta, and you cook it together and, it becomes a tomato-based pasta. However, sticking ketchup on pasta, that's a huge no.
That's a
No,
violation of pasta.
that is a it's a different consistency. Tomato sauce that you cook your pasta with, or, obviously, I know you don't do it together. Sometimes you can, depending on the pasta you're making. I would much rather go for that than putting tomato ketchup. If someone
Mm.
gave me a bowl of pasta and they put tomato ketchup on it, I would pick out the pasta that doesn't have any ketchup on it. But then again, that is a personal thing for me and probably quite controversial. I don't like ketchup. Can't
Ketchup on
stand
pasta, to
ketchup.
me, is just wrong because ketchup doesn't taste like tomatoes.
No,
It doesn't.
no, it doesn't.
Ketchup does not
That's
taste like
because
tomatoes or any kind of tomato sauce that you would get in a bolognese, in a lasagna, and I mean, I get they're the same base, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
It's not the
it's same
same,
base, but it's completely different.
and it's a different texture, like you said.
Tomato sauce has got too much vinegar in it.
Yeah.
That's the problem for me. It's got too much vinegar in it, and it tastes completely different.
Also, not to mention, usually people have their ketchup cold or cooler, depending on where you store it. If you store it in the cupboard or the fridge,
Mm.
and I'm one. I once it's opened, it goes in the fridge. That's my personal preference.
I mean, that's the storing instructions, so,
Yeah.
you're going with the
Yes.
instructions there.
Um,
You're keeping safe with
but
your food. It's good to know.
to me, I can't understand why you would want ketchup on pasta because to me, you have pasta hot, and there's only specific times you have it cold, and that's if you have a tuna mayo pasta. That's when you have it
Then
cold.
again,
But
that's
that's
another debate. Cold pasta. It's a huge no for me.
mm,
I can't handle
it
cold
has.
pasta.
The only way I can eat cold pasta is if it's made into a tuna mayo pasta hot thing, and then it's left to cool altogether because it doesn't get that like congealed texture. It has to be done a very specific way, and I have to do it myself at home. I couldn't do it from the store. Could not do that. But
Yeah, you couldn't get a store-bought one.
so typically you have pasta hot, and then you're gonna go and put cold ketchup on top of that hot pasta. To me, that's just completely wrong because when you have pasta, again, typically you would have it with you'd have your dish with or your plate with walls. Your dish your dish with your pasta in, and you would put your bolognese on top of it, and you sprinkle cheese. But it's warm. It's warm on warm. It's hot on hot.
It's all the same temperature.
Yeah. So it works better together. And the idea of taking pasta that is very susceptible to texture change at different temperatures and then putting some at cold directly on top of it.
You're already cooling your food down to room temperature.
Yeah. And
No.
I'd, and like I said, ketchup doesn't taste like tomato. It just doesn't.
No. I think we've decided on the
Yeah.
same outcome for this one. For us, it's an absolute no.
Yeah. No. Okay. The next crime is specific to one thing, but it also applies to another. Milk before cereal is the specific thing, but also milk before tea. Milk, so people put, you put your tea bag and they put milk before the hot water, or you put milk in the bowl before your cereal. You're wrong.
Okay.
You're just wrong. I'm sorry.
First of all, I find that offensive as an
Yes.
English person. If you do that,
You're just
shame on
wrong.
you. That is all types of wrong. It's like it's almost as bad as putting your tea in the microwave. No,
Oh no, that's disgusting. Why would you do that?
it ruins the
It
taste. It's
does.
not the same. It is not the same. It tastes completely different when you put it in the microwave.
So
That's
I
a different
know
debate. And
in
I know I'm
America,
going off on one, but
I know in America typically they will heat the water in the microwave. No, you're wrong. Buy a kettle. Why are you ruining the water?
majority of the American people that I've introduced to tea and proper British tea, I say, I they have all bought kettles
Yes, because
because I've shown them the correct way.
even just heating the water in a pan on the stove is better than putting it in the
That's not as
microwave.
bad. Yeah,
Is better than putting it in the microwave.
essentially it's the same. It's the
Yeah,
same thing as a kettle.
you just put a lid on it and you kettle it, basically just on the
Yeah,
pan. If you don't want to get an electric kettle, but it's still better than putting it in the microwave because it changes the flavor. In the same way that
it
putting
does.
you so especially with tea, right? Especially with tea, the first liquid that tea touches is going to determine how it infuses in the rest of the liquid, and it needs to be infused in hot water. And depending on the tea you have, depends on the temperature, but it's usually between 80 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius
Mhm.
for what temperature it needs to be able to properly infuse the liquid with the flavor of the tea.
Yep.
So if you're
We have a kettle that decides the temperature of the water.
yeah,
You can actually choose the temperature of the water. More often than not, I have it at 90.
yeah. So then putting milk in that first, you were telling the tea leaves infuse into the milk, but it struggles to do that at cold temperatures. So even when you
Yeah,
put the hot water in, it's already too late at that point.
you're
They're
not
not
getting
gonna
the
infuse
most out
properly.
of the tea.
You're gonna end up with milky, watery tea. It's wrong.
Yeah. It
And
becomes
then
too weak. It's not strong enough. It doesn't infuse. It doesn't get all the flavors out of the tea. It it for me it's all kind of wrong. It's all kinds of wrong.
coming back to the main point of milk first in cereal is wrong because how do you know how much milk to use?
The other way for me thinking about it is like if I'm visually seeing this, yes, okay, your argument stands of how much cereal do you know to put in, how much milk do you know to put in? Because if you think about the majority of cereals that you have are quite buoyant, they sit on the top of the milk.
Mm.
If you've got a bowl of milk and you're putting cereal on top, you're just creating a layer.
Yeah,
You're filling your bowl far quicker than what you would do if you were to put cereal in the bowl and then pour the milk over the top of it. But then that's the other thing of this is you're not coating your cereal in the milk.
no, you're not.
You'll get your bottom layers of cereal if you're doing it milk first. The bottom layer of cereal is going to go soggy,
Yeah,
and then the top layers are just going to go. They're just going to stay hard. Obviously, I know that you can mix it, but then again, you're left on an uneven proportion.
yeah. Whereas when you put cereal in and you pour the milk over it, you're generally getting more of a even coating of liquid to your cereal, and it's less likely to go soggy by the time you get to the bottom of the bowl. So I'm sorry, if you put milk first, you're wrong.
I agree, and there's a reason why I have a VC in my Discord that is the milk first punishment room.
Yes.
It stands for both tea and cereal.
Moving on, because I'm gonna get triggered again.
I mean, we're going to get triggered with the next one
Okay.
anyway, so.
So mayo in unsuspected places, and I have examples of unsuspected places because when I first got introduced to the prompt of just mayo in unsuspected places, I was like, "What do you mean unsuspected places?" So then I went onto a deep dive. Typical unsuspected place is fries. Apparently, people don't tend to have mayo with fries. Now, I'm a big person
Really?
of mayo with fries,
I'm a huge person with mayo with fries.
and
That is my condiment of choice when it comes to
yeah,
fries. Mayo, more often than not, garlic mayo,
it's
but
garlic mayo.
mayo,
Oh, yeah, especially
garlic mayo and fries is the way.
garlic mayo with chicken nuggets is
Yes,
is
unless and there is only one rule for me: unless it's McDonald's, then it's McDonald's barbecue sauce.
yes. That yeah, I will agree with that. I will definitely agree with that one. But also, I wouldn't trust mayonnaise from McDonald's anyway because
It doesn't do mayo, does it?
no. But if they did, obviously having worked at McDonald's, I know some things. Also,
Insider's view here.
when you go and collect in store and they give it you over the counter, all their condiments are stored on shelves below the counter. And to me, mayo needs to be refrigerated. And if you tell me it doesn't, we can't be friends. Especially once it's open. But when it sits in
Once it's open,
packets,
100%.
but the thing is, some of those packets of ketchup and barbecue sauce, because they have the vinegar and they last longer, but they can end
Mhm.
up sitting there for months until they do date rotations and stuff like that. So if that happens with mayo and then they run out and you're just getting the bottom of the dredges, you don't know how long the mayo sat there. It's going to be warm when they give it you. And so I wouldn't trust mayo from McDonald's anyway. But yeah, apparently mayo on fries is not a typical thing that people like to have.
I mean, majority of people have ketchup. We know that. Ketchup is the most popular condiment to have. But for me personally, it's mayo. I could have mayo with a lot of things.
Yeah, okay. I'm the same. I could have mayo with majority of things. The next one, this is the one that turned my stomach, right? And this sent me on a half-hour deep dive on TikTok, on Google, is that there has been a trend on TikTok that all started with a professional American football player. He plays for the Tennessee Titans. He's a quarterback. Will Levis puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
It's
Why?
disgusting.
What is wrong with you?
It's no, that it's gross. No. I
And
I disagree with that
but
wholeheartedly with
from
every
yeah, no.
fiber of my being. That is a big fat no from me.
Especially with some of the videos that I have seen is of him specifically, is he'll get the mayo and he'll put it in the coffee and it's not even mixed properly.
He doesn't mix it?
Not properly. He'll like give it a swizz round. But you know what mayo's like if you put it in water. It has to be fully blended,
Yeah.
and then even then it separates. But no, it's
People
basically
people have gotta
chunky.
remember what mayo is made from.
You
It's
basically got
egg
egg
white.
chunks in your coffee. That's essentially.
No.
The
Eggy
thing is,
coffee. No.
so I know that some I've seen this with some athletes. They'll put egg whites, just pure egg whites, in their coffee as a protein thing, right? But egg whites on their own have very minimal flavor, and they are liquidy,
Yeah.
and they will mix them properly, and that's just as a protein boost.
Yeah.
What he's taking is egg mixed with vinegar and oil, because that's what mayonnaise is, and putting it in his coffee.
When you break it down like that,
Yeah.
that just makes it even
So a lot
worse.
of people on TikTok were trying the trend of putting mayonnaise in their coffee, but what a lot of people were doing were they were putting it in. So he drinks it in black coffee, which makes it even worse. But they will put it in things like lattes and mochas or mochas, depending on how you
Oh,
say.
no, don't
And
include the milk.
yeah, and then properly blending it because allegedly it makes it creamier.
The thing
And the
is as
amount of
well,
people I
like,
saw try it and just dump it straight out.
the thing to remember as well is, like, a lot of Americans I know not everyone, but a lot of Americans use coffee creamers
Hmm.
in their coffees to make it like they an americano, the cappuccino, and all that sort of stuff. They use coffee creamers, which has a very high sugar content. I know some have less sugar than others. Majority of it is it is made with sugar. So that just makes the flavor even worse. because that's just going to emphasize that eggy flavor with
Yeah,
the sugar.
especially the saltiness of the oil
Yeah.
typically that's used. Moving on before I feel sick, because
Yeah, no,
Mr. Mr.
I
Will
want to swiftly
Levis,
move on from this one.
Mr. Will Levis, I'm sure you're a lovely person, but you're wrong. Anyway,
Wholeheartedly.
so mayo in unexpected places on pizza, either drizzled on or used as a dipping sauce. And
Now,
I want to
I
preface,
nearly mentioned,
not garlic and herb dip like you typically get, actual mayo, just for context.
yeah, I nearly mentioned this earlier that, when we were talking about mayo with fries and it being my most reached for condiment. I will have mayonnaise with pizza.
Yeah,
More often than
I'm not
not,
against.
if it's a takeaway pizza, not so much. I usually have the garlic and herb dip that
Yeah,
the
always
pizza
the
comes
garlic
with.
herb.
However, if it's like a oven bake pizza, the nice cheap thin pizza ones that
Yeah.
you get, I will have mayonnaise with that every single time. Mayonnaise with it.
See,
It's my condiment of
we
choice.
also like to have garlic mayo in the house,
Oh,
at
yeah,
most
we've
given
always got
times.
garlic mayo in the house.
So garlic mayo especially.
Hmm.
But I have no problem with
Yeah,
mayo on pizza. But apparently, this is a thing that is seen as a crime. People just don't like mayo. Apparently.
mayo's like Marmite. You either love it or hate it.
Yeah, I guess. The next one is with peanut butter. So you have mayo and peanut butter, typically on a sandwich. Fun fact, apparently Elvis Presley was known to eat mayo and peanut butter sandwiches.
Now I question this, but then I also remember that people eat peanut butter and jelly, or if you're from the UK, peanut butter and jam.
But that
That to
kind of
me
makes
alone,
sense
like
because that's
I've still
salted
never
with
tried,
sweet.
but I've still never tried it. I've never tried that. But the idea of it still kind of confuses me slightly.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
get that.
know. I've never tried it, so I don't fully understand it. However, peanut butter and mayo
They do not
is
seem like they would work.
no. uh, I can't imagine the flavor of that.
I imagine it'd be very salty because peanut butter typically, even if you get unsalted, has that salty quality.
Yeah.
And the same with the mayo. It has a salty quality to it. Okay, we're gonna move on before he starts crying.
I'm 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 not pleased
No,
by that thought. Like I
Elvis
okay,
Presley. Why?
people like what they like. I'm not yucking your yums, but also that's a yuck for me.
Okay, the last mayo specific one of unexpected places, as a suggestion that I had, was in chocolate cake.
Now I've actually seen ingredients for some chocolate cakes, and some chocolate cakes do actually use mayonnaise. There's a TikToker I follow. A lot of people may know him. I'm not going to name him, but he goes through like very old
I know who you
cookbooks.
mean. I love
Yeah,
him.
I
I
love him as
love
well. He's great.
him.
But he goes through old cookbooks. I'm talking like 1920s, like sometimes even later than that. He has some really old cookbooks, and a lot of like the older cookbooks that he has do use mayonnaise when it comes to chocolate cake, and he has made them, and he has said that they were actually really tasteful. He was shocked himself. I've never tried a cake with mayonnaise in it. I wouldn't be opposed to trying it, but the idea is still slightly nauseating.
Yeah, the thought of it is strange, but so when I looked at this, I was like, this can't be a real thing. And then I did another deep dive into it. Half an hour of my life gone on mayo chocolate cake. And the reason that it's used in chocolate cake, specifically chocolate cake, is because it helps with the texture. It makes it more dense. But also because
Can
of
understand.
the cocoa powder that you use overpowers any flavor of the mayo, so you don't have the typical mayo. You basically can't taste it. It just tastes like chocolate cake with a different texture.
Now, with you saying that, I'm more willing to give it a try. However, I'm not jumping at the I'm not gonna run downstairs now and go and make myself a chocolate cake with mayonnaise in it.
Tell you what, if this podcast gets 10 likes on YouTube, me and
Yeah.
me and
Yeah.
Nova will try chocolate cake with mayonnaise in it.
How much do you really want to try this chocolate cake?
I don't know. I'm kind of interested now. Okay, and the last crime that I have before we move on to the next points is this one triggers me. Is sparkling water just spicy sadness?
Yes.
Yes, it is. How do
100%.
you drink sparkling water?
100%. For me, the reason why it's sparkly disappointment and spicy sadness, whatever name you want to have for it, you taste the carbonation. No, you taste the soda, and then it's nothing. You have that horrible sodary taste. It's not for me. I don't like like tonic water or anything like that because of the soda taste to it. So to me, sparkling water, you have that horrible tonic taste, and then nothing. It's just
It tastes
water.
like licking TV static. Sparkling water, soda water tastes like you've gone and licked an outlet or a plug socket.
Just like in a battery.
Just lick a battery. It tastes like static. It tastes wrong. You're wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not
I'm with
convinced.
you on this one.
I'm not convinced anyone genuinely likes sparkling water. I think people pretend to seem fancy. That's my genuine belief.
But I actually work with someone who will drink sparkling water. They bring sparkling water in every day, and it's not because they
Why?
want to be pretentious or anything like that. That is their preference. If they run out, they will not reach for normal water. We have a water filter at work. They will not reach for that water. They will just drink tea until they have sparkling water again.
No.
I don't
Why?
personally understand it. It's not a me thing. You know, again, not yucking people's yums, but for me,
Yuck.
I don't like sparkling water. Yeah, it's a yuck from me.
This is a yuck from me. Do next episode. We're just yuck or yum.
Yuck or yum.
Yeah, just go through different food recipes.
Okay, so that concludes round twos with of the crimes, and I think we've definitely hit some crimes in there,
I think
some
we made
worthy
it.
of jail time. I
I
think
think we've made out of jail time though. I think we've
we've had our time
borderline,
in jail
but
just from talking about those things and
yeah.
experiencing the
I
ideas of
feel
them.
I feel guilty by association. I feel like an accessory
Yes,
to crime knowing these things exist.
I feel sorry for your search history right now. I won't lie.
Oh god, yeah.
So we're gonna swiftly move on from round two, and we're gonna move over to round three, and these are the listeners' leftovers. So these are some of the suggestion topics from the community members. Um, Now, like these are definitely going to cause debates. I think these were suggested to cause debates.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The first one is definitely going to cause a debate from me.
Oh,
100%.
100%. Especially from me as well.
Is a Jaffa cake a cake or a biscuit?
It's cake.
It is a cake.
It's cake. It's legally been declared a cake in a court of law.
And here is the reason why. A Jaffa cake is a cake because when it goes stale, it goes hard. When biscuits go stale, they go soft. Therefore, when a Jaffa cake goes stale, it goes hard. It
Hmm.
is a cake.
When we say biscuit, we mean British biscuit, so the equivalent would be a cookie for
Yes. Yeah,
our
yeah.
American
For the
listeners.
American
Because
listeners,
I know that
yeah.
biscuits in America are very different things, which took me a while to understand of why you would have biscuits with gravy. I'm like, why? It's something different. Okay, that makes sense. But Jaffa
Yeah.
cakes have been declared in a court of law to be a cake, not a biscuit, which is why you don't pay tax on them. Which is why when you go down the biscuit
Also,
aisle, they tend to be, even though they're with the biscuits, which does not make sense, they tend to be cheaper because you don't pay tax on cakes. You do pay tax on biscuits because biscuits are declared as a luxury item, whereas cakes aren't.
mhm,
Cakes aren't
yeah,
declared as a luxury item, they're just a regular item of
mhm,
everyday groceries.
yeah. Also, can I just point out the absolute point blank in your face biggest I'm a fucking cake hint? It's called a Jaffa cake. It's in the name, people.
It's
It's a
right
cake.
there. could not
It's right
make it
there.
more obvious.
It is what it says on the tin. Or box in that case, but
That's
you know
exactly
the
what it says
saying.
on the box. It's cake.
It's cake.
Cake.
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement with that one.
Yes.
We're definitely
I
going to
was
cause some
fully
arguments
ready
for other
to
people.
argue. I was ready to defend that to the death.
You already knew my standpoint on it, though. Like we've had this conversation before.
Oh
You already
yeah.
knew my standpoint on Jaffa cakes. Okay, swiftly moving on from that one. And I hate this
We've
question has
basically
been
just come
around
back to it.
for a long time, and I'm already hating this. Is a taco a sandwich?
No.
It's not. It is
Um
not a sandwich.
we go back to the
It's
hot
made with like a
yeah,
corn. What is it? What
corn
is it?
shell.
Corn shell. That's the
Yeah.
one. It's
If
made with a corn
if
shell.
and the if you have a soft taco, it's made with a wrap which isn't technically the same process as bread. So it's not counted as
No,
bread. Going back to the hot dog debate, it is not meat between bread because there is actually no bread. So you cannot define it as a sandwich.
I know we're on different standpoints on the hot dog thing, but
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you on this one. Like
Yeah.
this is my turning point. Like bread, meat in between
Yeah.
pieces of bread. A taco is not.
No. A taco is
I
not
have
a
differing
sandwich.
opinions when it comes to the hot dog. We won't go back to it. We've already said. But I am in agreement with you.
Yeah.
Taco is not a sandwich. I know some of you motherfuckers out there will think that a taco is a sandwich, and I'm pointing at you right now. It is not a fucking sandwich.
Moving on.
Moving on from that one. That one got a little heated. I'm sorry. Cookies and cream. Is it overrated?
I feel like it's overused, but in
It's
itself, I like cookies and cream because it breaks up just the plain vanilla a lot of the time.
yeah.
Because
I quite like
typically,
cookies and
yeah,
cream.
typically when you have cookies and cream, the cookie that is used is a chocolate type cookie,
Hmm.
like Oreo cookies and cream. You use the Oreo cookie, and it's cocoa, it's chocolate.
Yeah.
So it's basically chocolate with vanilla in something else.
Yeah.
And I feel
Typically ice
like,
cream.
typically ice cream or those Kinder what stick things. Do you know the sticky things? So it's like an inch long and it has tiny little squares that you break off. The
Oh,
kid size
yeah.
ones, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean
Yeah.
now. Yeah. They're like the bite-sized Kinder Buenos, aren't they? But they're
Yeah, the
not
bite size,
quite
yeah.
Kinder Buenos.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
I know
do
what you mean now.
feel like cookies and cream went through a whole thing where it was in everything and it was completely
Oh,
overused.
absolutely.
And to be honest, I kind of got sick of it as well at one point. But typically, a cookies and cream favorite thing, I don't think it's overrated. I think it's a good combination. I just feel
It's
like
popular.
it went through such a big popular phase that everybody capitalized on it and everyone got sick of it.
I think that's why a lot of people call it overrated.
But
It's
now
because
that
of
it's
how
calmed
popular it
down,
was.
because now it's more Biscoff that's the new trend. You find it in everything.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Biscoff is massive right now.
People that tend to go towards the cookies and cream more because it's not as in your face anymore. It's not, but it's still there. But because it's a popular choice and it's popular for a reason. You have to
Because it's
remember
good.
these things
It
that
is
are,
good.
if you class something as cliche or it's everywhere, blah, there's a reason. There is a reason that something is a cliche. There is a reason something is everywhere. It's because people like it. However, every company went very hard with cookies and cream. Everything's made cookies and cream. Like milkshakes, chocolate bars, ice cream, you name it. There's a cookies and
Yeah.
cream version of it. But again, there's a reason for that.
Mm. Yeah, I'm in agreement. Like,
Yeah.
I don't personally think it's overrated. Like that the takeaway from it to
Yeah.
answer the question, I don't think it's overrated. I think it was just overused and definitely became very popular very quickly, which is why people think it is overrated. On to the next one. Pickles. Yay or nay?
Yay.
I love
I love
pickles.
pickles. I'm that
Like
person.
give me a jar of
Oh
pickles.
yeah,
I could sit
literally.
there and eat them.
So when we go out to like my friend hates pickles and they don't like it because of the texture thing, which I get. So they'll typically order a
Understandable.
burger no pickles. But in the rare instance, everyone has been at McDonald's, you order no pickles, you still get pickles because they're not paying attention.
They never pay attention. You ask for
um
no pickles. But then it's a good thing when you're with someone who
Yeah.
doesn't like pickles
Yeah,
and
but
they
I'm
say,
just
"No
like,
pickles,"
just give
and
me the
then they get
pickles.
pickles, and I'm there like, "Ha ha, I'm gonna get
Extra
extra
pickles.
pickles."
Yeah. Yeah, I am that friend. I'm like, I'll take your pickles. It's fine. And yeah, can just sit there with a jar of pickles, snacking on them.
Yeah,
I think,
100%.
and I think typically because they're used in burgers, it adds. So typically with a burger, you've got your buns, you've got your meat, you've got your cheese, your lettuce, tomato. It adds a tartness and like a to the burger, but not
Mhm.
so much in an overpowering way.
I'm very much a texture kind of
Mm,
person. Like, for me, p typically on a burger, I love salads. So I love, like, having, like, crunchy salads on my burgers and having a nice ripe pickle, not one that's been, like, overbrined, like, sat in a
yeah.
jar for years. One that's quite fresh, still got some crunch to it, and that to me is that's the best kind of pickle that you can get in a burger.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even outside of burgers, like, talking about fried pickles, frickles.
I
I
love
love a fried
frickles.
pickle. Love a
Frickles
fried
are
pickle,
amazing.
and typically fried pickles are a lot softer. They're not
Mm.
the nice crunchy pickle that you would get in a burger or, like, the fresh pickles that you would get. They're usually softer. However, I still love them. It's the flavor for me, but the texture for them is a win. I'm glad that we're both yay on the pickles.
I love pickles.
Okay, next question.
I'm gonna already get mad at this. This is
I Yeah, this blasphemy.
yeah.
Well done steaks.
No, 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 no. You're wrong. You deserve to be crucified like you crucified that steak. You deserve to be cremated. You deserve all your grapes to be soggy. You deserve both sides of your pillow to be warm. You deserve to every time you go to the bathroom there's no toilet roll. Why would you ruin a good steak like that?
You feel strongly about this one, huh?
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go, like, to the point where you should be crucified like your steak, nothing
No,
like that.
I can't
However,
abide by it. I have
I
actually so fun fact, I was on a date with someone. We went to a restaurant. We both had a steak. He ordered it well done. And I
Mhm.
left before he even finished the order. He said, "Oh, you can have it cooked well done." I was like, "No, I'm out." I left. Straight up left. This is how strongly I feel about steak. Now, I know how I have my steak is not for everyone, and I get that some people would be off put by how I have my steak, 'cause I'm a very rare meat person. That's how I am. And I
I
understand
was
that's
gonna ask, how is
and
it that you actually
I
have your
understand that's
steak?
not for everyone, and typically medium, medium rare kind of thing is what people would typically order. And I'll eat it medium rare or medium if I have to. But typically
No.
that's pushing it. But typically, I'm a rare meat person, especially with steak,
Um,
because the type of meat it is, it needs to be cooked that way to be at its best quality.
yeah, yeah,
Medium
100%.
pushes it because the
Yeah.
more you cook it, the drier it gets, the worse structural integrity it has.
Mhm.
It
I
becomes chewy,
uh,
and
One
it's
thing for
not
me as
nice.
well, I I love it when you cut into a steak. So I usually I will order my steaks rare. I love being able to cut into a well-cooked rare steak, and all of the proteins and the juices just
Yeah,
fall out of it. That is chip dunking.
that is chip
You dunk
dunking.
your fries in that. That is a good steak.
That is a good steak.
That is a good
I was
steak.
so happy. So I went out to dinner with my grandparents last week, and we because it was my nan's birthday. We went to a restaurant and they did this tomahawk steak and it serves two people. So me and my granddad split it, and we both like our steak rare. Now, when you're in the UK, they ask you how do you want your steak. You tell them rare. It usually comes out medium rare at best. Still,
Usually, yeah.
they always overcook it, and I get why they're erring on the side of safety. Blah blah blah. Just don't offer me a way of cooking steak. Just say you're only cooking medium. But that's beside the point. Anyway, tomahawk steak comes out and it is actually rare. I have never been so happy in my life to see an actually rare steak, and it was so beautifully cooked because it was cooked correctly.
No, obviously that's like a matter of opinions. When you say correctly,
Yes,
it is obviously a matter of opinions, and
I mean correctly
everybody
for
has their
rare. Do
steaks
you know what I
differently.
mean? It's
Yeah,
cooked correctly for rare.
correctly for rare. You asked for rare, you got rare.
Yeah,
It was done correctly
and
by your books.
typically you order rare, you're still gonna end up with medium rare at best in most restaurants.
majority of restaurants in the UK, I will say, because as someone who has been to America a fair few times, when you ask for a steak in an American restaurant, you get it more often than not less than what you expected, and that coming from a person from the UK,
Mm.
coming from an English person. I'm used to going to a restaurant, ordering a steak rare, and it coming out medium. However, when I went to America, I got told to order it medium, or like medium rare. Sorry, I got told to order it medium rare because it will come rare. Now, I wasn't aware of this the first time I ordered a steak. I ordered it rare and it came out blue. I'm not against it. I like a blue steak. Every
Well,
now and then, I will eat a blue steak.
blue steak has to be done
How?
correctly.
Yeah, but then again, it was a steakhouse
Mm.
that I went to. So bear that in mind. It was a steakhouse that I went to, and it was a beautifully cooked steak, lovely steak.
That makes me worried about if you ordered blue steak. Does it come out just
If
like?
I ordered blue steak, would it still come out mooing?
That's what I'm saying. Could a good vet revive it?
So we done the well done steaks. We agree.
No.
No on the well done steaks. We both like ours quite rare. um, next one on the list, and this one is definitely going to cause a debate. Pancakes, waffles, and French toast. Are they a breakfast or a dessert?
Yes.
That is the answer. Yes.
Yes. And it always depends on what you put on it. So typically, if you had a waffle and
Yeah.
you covered it in chocolate sauce, I would say that's a dessert. But if you covered it in fruit and like a strawberry compote type thing, I'd say there's breakfast. If it's got just fruit and not the chocolate sauce, I'd say maybe honey, golden syrup kind of thing. I'd say breakfast. But if you're lathering it in like when when you order it from a dessert place and it's lathered in chocolate sauce, then I'm saying dessert. If sniffing
See,
it gives you diabetes, it's a dessert.
yeah, you can have healthy desserts.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, if you've topped your waffles or your pancake or your French toast to the point where just sniffing it, you get a sugar high, it is a dessert. I don't care what time of day you eat it, then it is a dessert.
Now, for me, when you were talking about waffles, and if you were to put like chocolate on it, it's a dessert, and then if you were to put fruit on it in a compote, then it would be um a
Fruit,
breakfast.
fruit's not exclusively the
I
breakfast
still
one.
I I still imagined that, like in my head, picturing it. I still had the I still had dessert in mind.
Mm,
I think for me, it depends on which one we're talking about. Like pancakes for
yeah,
me, they're a
either or.
breakfast. Pancakes for me are a breakfast, and the reason why is because I got brought up on having pancakes for
For
breakfast.
breakfast,
We
yeah.
would have pancakes for breakfast. Not often. It wasn't like a very often thing. It was be every now and then we'd have
Especially
pancakes,
pancake
and it
day.
would always be for breakfast.
Especially
We
pancake
never
day.
usually actually really had pancakes on Pancake Day.
We
We
love
we would
pancake day
never
in this
usually have
house.
pancakes on Pancake Day,
We
but we
we
would have it.
celebrate pancake day more than Christmas in this house.
In this house, we celebrate Pancake
Yeah.
Day.
I
But
also
no,
want
for me, it was
to
usually a breakfast thing.
yeah, I just want to just preface for again American listeners, British pancakes and American pancakes are very different. So your kind of pancakes tend to be a lot thicker and fluffier, whereas ours are closer to crepes typically.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about American style pancakes, I would say dessert more often than not. However, British style pancakes, I would say more leaning towards breakfast.
And even then, again, I think that's a
And it's a
personal opinion
preference.
type thing
And I think
because for me, even the little pancakes, even the American style pancakes, for me, they are a breakfast thing, and that's because we would used to buy them. We buy them store bought. We never used to make the American pancakes. We'd always make the French pancakes. However, American pancakes we would buy in a packet, and I would typically eat them dry as they were as a breakfast.
yeah, I've done that before. I like the lemon raisin ones.
I do like lemon raisin ones. We would typically just get the standard
So I think
plain.
pancakes are very versatile for me, at
Pancakes are very
least.
versatile. Yeah,
Waffles, I feel, lean definitely more towards the dessert side of the spectrum.
yes,
French toast, I've only ever known French toast to be a breakfast type food. I've never
yes.
known anyone to be like, I'm having French toast for dessert, in my
I've
experience.
I've only ever had it once, and I only ever had it as breakfast.
Yeah, I think it's typically served as a breakfast style food. So on the spectrum of breakfast to dessert, that one sits more on the breakfast side, whereas pancakes are more of a versatile. And I think that all stems from typically what they are when they are served, typically if you went to a restaurant, and B, what they are served with.
Mhm.
So typically when you order waffles, they come with loads of chocolate sauce covered all over them. Maybe it's some fruit, cookie bits, whatever. And it's typically served to you as a dessert
Yeah.
more often than not. So I think it also stems from how society presents them. But there is nothing against having waffles as breakfast food.
No, nothing
And there
against
is
it at
nothing
all.
against having French toast for dessert if that's what you prefer. I just think they have a typical spectrum based on how society presents them as food.
I think it's also a case of how you grew up.
Mhm.
Like, for me, it's definitely a grow up thing. Like,
Yeah.
environmentally, I would grow up with having pancakes for breakfast, waffles for um, dessert, and then French toast. Again, like I said, I've only recently um, properly eaten it. I'd have like I'd see other people eating it, but I'd never really go for it. I would always usually go for like pancakes if the option was there.
Yeah.
But recently, I have had French toast, and I had it as a breakfast.
I think it also stems from, like, in the same token of how things are presented. If you think of a classic British fry up,
Hmm.
you go breakfast. You know, that's a breakfast food. But
Yeah,
individually, those items, none of them are specific to breakfast. But when you put them together, you're like, it's a breakfast food. Sausages you can have any time of the day. Bacon any time of the day. Toast, I would say, is typically more of a breakfast slash
toast is a
snack type
breakfast.
thing.
Yeah.
But fried egg, you can have fried egg with dinner. Egg, chips, and beans dinner. Banging dinner.
Mm,
Again, beans can have it with dinner. Anything else you
yeah.
would have, fried mushroom, fried tomato, if you're doing like full on thing. Again, you can have them with breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But you put them together, and it's so strange how the combination of these foods in this specific configuration determines it's a breakfast food.
And I think that's because it's typically a British thing.
Mm,
It's called the English breakfast for a
yeah,
reason. It's because it was eaten as a breakfast for in the UK.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand because it's got a lot of protein in there, and it's designed to give you a good start to your day. So I understand that. But it is interesting how we determine whether a food is a breakfast food or a dinner food based on how it's presented on the plate as well as
Within society.
within society. Yeah. Moving on, I have a lightning round. So I have 10 questions to ask you, Nova, and I want one word answer, either
Okay.
yes or no, or pertaining to the question.
God, I will do my best to keep it to one word
One word
answers.
answer.
I
Okay.
can't promise because I may have some opinions on things and I will voice those opinions.
One of
However, I
these we
will
have already covered.
attempt.
So I already know your answer, but I'm still going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Pickles on burgers.
100%. Yes.
Cold soup.
I will eat cold soup. Yeah, I will go with yeah. I will eat cold soup. It's not a go-to. I would much prefer my soup to be hot, but I will eat cold soup.
Ranch sauce with pizza.
Yes.
Eggs on burgers.
No, I'm not against it. It's not a go-to thing for me, so I'm going to say no, but it's not a no as in absolutely not, never. I will have it. It's just not something I would go to for a burger.
Popcorn at the movies, necessary or annoying?
Necessary.
Is garlic bread better than regular bread?
100%. 100%. Garlic bread is better than normal
Garlic
bread,
bread is
and I
elite.
will die on that hill.
Garlic bread is God. We worship
Garlic bread
garlic
is
bread here.
everything. The garlicer, the better.
Yeah. Soft or crunchy tacos?
Soft.
Licorice.
No. No. Can't stand the flavor of licorice.
Sweet or salted popcorn?
I'm a sweet popcorn kind of guy.
Yeah, that's one. Which is better, Skittles or M&Ms?
Skittles. I will always choose chewy fruit sweets over chocolate any day.
Yeah, that's fair enough. To be fair, I agree with myself. The one I don't agree with, I can't do cold soup. I can barely do warm soup. So I definitely
But
can't
then
do
again,
cold soup.
yeah, yeah, I mean, you already discussed that earlier that you don't do soup. You
No.
just we were talking about the
And
milk and being a soup,
egg on
milk being a soup.
burgers, it depends on what else is on the burger. I wouldn't have egg on a
Yeah,
beef burger. Egg on a pork burger.
yeah, egg on a pork burger. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah,
Yeah. Other than
it
that, yeah,
has.
I pretty much agree with you. Except I like licorice to an extent. I can probably have about 1 or 2 pieces of licorice and then I'm like, this is too much for me. But I'm not against licorice. I don't like licorice flavored things. It has to be actual licorice.
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of licorice.
But
You know,
my mum
growing up on my
is obsessed with licorice. She loves it. So it's always been around me. So I think that's why I'm more
yeah.
tolerable of it.
Well, what I was gonna say was, growing up, my nan would always have like licorice all sorts in the house.
Love a
And
licorice also.
she would eat them, and then she'd offer. And as a kid, you see, like it would be the ones like the small
Toilet
like
rolls.
not the swirly rolls. No, no, not those ones. It would be like the small flat round ones, and that are covered in like the sprinkles. They would be like
Oh
different
yeah,
colors,
yeah, yeah. I
usually
know what you
blue or
mean.
pink. And I'd always pick up one of them, like she'd offer, being the typical Brit that like my nan is. It would
Yeah.
be common decency to just offer the sweets out, even if you knew that they didn't like them. I would always pick out one of those little flat round ones, thinking that it wasn't licorice. Because I was a kid, I didn't know any different. Like I tasted licorice before, and I didn't like it. But then I looked at like this colorful sweet that I was being offered, and obviously as a kid, you go, "Oh yeah, thank you," and I would eat it, and I'd put it in. You get past that sprinkle flavor of
Mm,
just pure sugar, and you get into the licorice, and I just spit that bit out. I just eat the sprinkles on it, and I wouldn't eat the rest of it. It was disgusting. I hate it.
yeah. I think my favorite ones were always the what are typically coined as the toilet roll ones. And they're the cylinder ones, obviously with the tiny bit of licorice inside. And I'll put a picture on the screen for everyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about and like thinking toilet roll sweets or whatever. They were coined the toilet roll licorice also. Because there was so little licorice in it compared to the just the icing sugar.
You just take off the licorice, and then you just eat the rest of it, eat the
Yeah.
fondant.
Yeah. Just because there's so much fondant in it. But I think we're about done for today with
I d
our great
I
food
think
debate.
we've discovered and, discussed enough food topics, for a little while. We've definitely caused some debates between people who are listening to this,
Yeah.
and people who probably disagree with us. I wanna know what your disagreements are, though.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to see those comments down below, and just ridicule us of any opinions that we may have. Granted, they are opinions. These are all opinionated type things. You're all going to have different opinions on things, and that's okay. But I want to know those opinions. I want to know the differences that you guys have compared to us. But we've definitely covered a lot of food
Yeah.
today. We've learned a lot about each other. I think
Yeah.
we're quite similar in
We
our
are.
food preferences. We're definitely quite similar in our food preferences, but then some differences. Some differences, like hot dog being a sandwich. Still disagree with that one.
There are other ones that we won't go into today.
We are the ones that we won't go into. We won't discuss those ones. But no, we've definitely learned we've definitely learned some wild things about mayo.
Yeah.
We've learned some wild things about mayo and
I'm
how it
sorry.
does not belong in coffee.
I understand everything is an opinion, but if your opinion is that mayo belongs in coffee, you're wrong. And if I see you around, I'm going to punch you with a jar of mayo.
If you're walking around with a coffee and you've got eggy breath, we know what you're doing.
It's wrong. You're wrong. I'm
It's
sorry.
I just want to give a special shout out to the guys who recommended and suggested some of the topics for today. So if you are listening, thank you to Tash, Dice, and Vix. Thank you so much for the suggestions in the food debates. They have definitely helped with we're filling in some debates there.
Yes, definitely.
But no, we did just want to give out a special thank you to you guys. But yeah, I think that's kind of
Yeah, if you have
wrapped up our,
any other suggestions for future episodes, make sure to comment them, and
absolutely.
we will definitely look into them.
Absolutely. And make sure that you guys follow us on the TikTok, follow us on the YouTube, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Definitely comment. We wanna know. And yeah, maybe your comments might spur some other discussions that we have. But no, I just want to give a big thank you to anyone who is listening. And yeah, we're just starting out. We're just mini podcasters at this
Just a
point.
baby.
We're just a baby. But no, yeah, obviously any lesson is, yeah, really appreciated. And again, just thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the first episode of our podcast, and thank you for listening to our brain noise.
We have very fuzzy brain noise.
Yes, it's from all the sparkling water.
No sparkling water here. Thank you so much, guys. We love and appreciate you.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
A boogity boogity boogity. Mom, I'm on the big screen.
Mum, look at my TV. Yeah. We may as well start and then get the
all the
nervousness.
Yeah.
Get the hoogity boogities and the nervousness now.
The nervousness.
The nervousness now.
Hi, everyone.
You know what this is gonna mean? Outtakes.
There's gonna be a lot of bloopers to this shit.
There's not a cake. Where is the sugar?
Sugar, do, 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 do. Oh, honey, honey, do, 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 do.
You can't see this, but I'm shooting them daggers.
Yes. I'm being stared at disapprovingly. But I'm so used to it at this point. Oh. Please help, we're having some connection issues. Oh. Hi, welcome back.
Hello. Don't you just love when your PC does automatic updates?
It was offended by the well-cooked steak.